Y'all, today we have a piping hot tea that's about to make your head spin. Grab your popcorn because this Diddy drama is wilder than a roller coaster at Six Flags, and now it's dragging his whole family into the mess. Y'all, Diddy's gone and got his entire family in hot water because it looks like the feds are after his kids, even his young girls. Can you believe it? I know, it's like a real-life episode of Empire, but messier. So, let's break this down, shall we? You know how Diddy got arrested by the feds a couple of days ago? Well, honey, the full indictment documents just dropped and it's juicier than a Georgia peach. Turns out the feds seized the passports of all Diddy's kids and even his mom. I mean, talk about a family vacation gone wrong, but wait, it gets even crazier. Word on the street is that Justin and Christian Combs are reading the writing on the wall. After they showed up in court to support Daddy Diddy during his first appearance, rumors are flying that they're on the run. Apparently, they know the feds are coming for them next. It's like a game of cat and mouse, but with designer shoes. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why are the feds bringing the young kids into this? And are Christian and Justin really guilty of some shady stuff? Well, buckle up, Buttercup, because we're about to dive deep into this mess. If you've been following Diddy's case since Cassie's lawsuit last year, you knew it wasn't going to end well for him. But child, nobody could have expected it to get this messy. We all thought it was just going to be civil lawsuits, you know? But then the feds swooped in like Batman, raiding Diddy's homes in Miami and New York at the same time. They seized cameras and hours of video footage from Diddy's houses. That's when we knew he was in hot water because Lil Rod had already spilled the tea about all the messed up stuff in those videos. A federal officer even said, "We believe that there is a disturbing history. We are responding to concrete, detailed, explicit allegations. This is not random. We didn't choose his name out of a hat. We had allegations that we're following up on." Now let's talk about Justin. Lil Rod was the first to tie him to Diddy's shenanigans. In his lawsuit, he claimed that Justin's job was to allegedly solicit and young girls to engage in these freak-offs. So if you're wondering why fans think Justin is on the run, this is why. The freak-offs are a major part of the feds' charges against Diddy, and the last thing Justin wants is to wear matching jumpsuits with his daddy in prison. But it's not just Justin, honey. Christian's got his own legal troubles brewing. An employee claimed he tried to do some very bad things to her on a family holiday. The woman's name is Grace O'Markay, and in her lawsuit, she claimed that Christian assaulted her on the Combs family yacht. Can you believe it? According to TMZ, Grace said she was hired as a stewardess on the yacht that Diddy chartered a few days before New Year's Day in 2023. She claims it was supposed to be a family-friendly excursion, but things took a dark turn when Christian allegedly became fixated on her. Grace claims Christian had her take a shot of liquor, which she suspected was spiked. Despite that, she says she was able to tell him to get off her and leave her alone, but Christian allegedly kept trying to kiss and grope her. She managed to break free, but then he insisted she do her job and find him a place to sleep. Once they got to the theater area, Grace claims Christian cornered her again and tried to force her to perform oral on him. She says she fought him off and even included photos of her bruised forearm in the docs. Eventually, she escaped, but claims to have suffered mentally and emotionally ever since. So yeah, Christian better run because this is not looking good for him. And this time, he doesn't have Daddy's money to save him because Daddy's in a little hot mess of his own. Now let's talk about Diddy's arrest. The feds finally decided to move in on him, and a few weeks ago, CNN reported that they set up a grand jury to indict Diddy on charges ranging from racketeering and a whole lot more. They said, federal investigators are preparing to bring accusers of music mogul Sean Diddy Combs before a federal grand jury. Two sources familiar with the probe tell CNN, signaling the U.S. Justice Department is moving toward potentially seeking an indictment of Combs. Well, the grand jury voted to indict Diddy, and he was arrested in New York. Everybody thought he was going to get bail, but the court said psych and denied him. They're keeping him in custody until the trial because they're worried he'll intimidate witnesses and obstruct the case if he's released. Now get this, Diddy even offered to pay a $50 million bond and submit to home detention, but the judge wasn't having it. The bail conditions Diddy offered were wild, y'all. Here's what he proposed. A $50 million bond co-signed by his mother, sister, the mother of his oldest daughter, and his 3 adult sons. The bond would be secured by the equity in his $48 million Miami home, which he conveniently paid off the $18 million mortgage on just before all this went down. The bond would also be secured by the equity of his mother's home in Miami. His travel would be restricted to the Southern District of Florida and the Southern District of New York. He'd submit his passport, along with the passports of his mom and all his kids, even the baby. What did that baby do? But even with all that, the judge still said no. This tells us that the case is way more serious than the feds are letting on.
My understanding is that there was a lot of individuals that were involved. And I think by looking at the indictment and seeing that only Sean Combs is the only defendant currently, who knows if that increases and it gets superseded with a different indictment. But currently there's only one defendant. My guess is that all of those individuals that could have been co-defendants or could have been co-conspirators or could have been involved in a RICO case have flipped on Sean Combs, and they're getting some sort of immunity.
What's really interesting is that Diddy conveniently paid off his mortgage just before the indictment hit. It kind of looks like he was cleaning house and preparing for this because he knew what was coming. I mean, if his lawyers were smart, they probably already knew this was coming and prepped him on what to do. It kind of explains why he put his $70 million LA mansion up for sale. He needed to raise money urgently to pay off the mortgage and put a couple of things in place before things blew up. Now, if you're wondering why the kids had to give up their passports, one fan gave an interesting perspective. They said they're likely the names on offshore accounts. They don't want him moving money overseas or paying people off or silencing people with the money in offshore accounts. Can't get to the accounts without going there because large sum withdrawals need to be in person to initiate. This is an interesting take, and it does kind of explain things. But while the girls are safe, we can't say the same for Christian and Justin. If the streets are right and they're on the run, it could mean a lot of trouble for them. Fans are divided on this. One said, Diddy's sons can be both victims and perpetrators. You can mourn for the little boys who didn't have a choice while holding the men they are today accountable if they are involved. Another fan commented, it's over for Diddy. The only people I feel bad for are his daughters. His sons clearly were partaking in some of the foolishness. His mother raised a disgusting and despicable man and chose to look the other way as long as her bills were paid. And get this, someone pointed out, how come Diddy's sons get to keep their passports and roam free and plot while all the women, especially the innocent daughters, have their passports revoked and are being hawk-eyed? King and Justin need to be looked at too, especially King. So, what do y'all think about this hot mess? Is Diddy's whole family going down with him? Are Justin and Christian really on the run? And what about those young girls? Should they be caught up in all this drama? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, loves, because this tea is too hot not to discuss. And don't forget to check out my next video for more juicy celebrity gossip. Remember, in Hollywood, the truth is often stranger than fiction, and this Diddy saga is proving that in spades. Until next time, this is Hot Gossip, keeping it real and serving up the hottest tea in town. Stay fabulous, stay informed, and most importantly, stay tuned. Goodbye.